Hello and welcome to the channel that celebrates women's professional lives and where we share stories about the joy of working after 60. Today's interview is with Ann Day, the founder of Company of Women. Ann is a celebrated author and a very key person in our community of women leaders. I had a lovely drive out to Ann's Daybreak Farm and visited her in her studio, which is lovingly known as the Cowshed. If you enjoy the video today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that other women will learn about this channel. So, take it away, Ann. And tell us a little bit about your story, about how you've come to this part of your life and you're still enjoying your work.
Back in 2000, I started my own business. So I was actually 50 when I started my own business. And I loved what I was doing. I was really successful at it, but I found it lonely. And so I decided to put an ad in the paper because I felt sure other women felt the same way. And I got 165 women out to my first meeting. So the Company of Women was suddenly born, conceived, etc. And now, 16 years later, I'm still doing it. I have 6 chapters. We put on about 170 events a year, plus a conference. So it's a lot.
That is.
But I love it. It doesn't seem like work most of the time. Some of the time it does.
Sometimes it feels like work, yes. And so interesting that you started with an ad in the paper.
Yes.
And in today's world,
that wouldn't even happen.
19 years later.
Yeah, you'd have to be on social media.
Yeah. What is it exactly that you love about working?
I just like meeting all the different women that I meet and helping women, seeing women sort of thrive and go forward. The biggest kick I get is when I introduce 2 people that I think should meet and they connect, and it's just you know, amazing after that.
Yeah. Career since your 50s, you've won quite a few awards for within women's business circles. Is there one that's really special to you?
Probably the Athena Award, which I got actually even before I started Company of Women. It was a leadership award. And actually I would love to go and take some of the courses they offer now. Because now I really feel like I'm a leader, whereas back then I just thought, what, me? But that was really, it's a beautiful award, and it was very meaningful to me. It sort of gave me the push to forge ahead.
Yeah. Now, was there someone in your life earlier or even mid-career that really made an impression upon you that says, I can continue working. I don't have to stop working in my 60s?
Well, my father, for one. He worked until he was 70. He had his own business late in life, kind of like me, and just kept going. I mean, he was always selling something. He was a great salesman. He was always selling something.
Yeah. So you picked up on some of those skills? Or
I don't know about that, but I certainly enjoy life.
Good. And inspiring to continue to work, right?
Yes.
Because of what work? What does work do for you?
Well, it makes me feel good. I mean, it really does. I mean, as you say, I've received quite a few awards, and that's kind of nice to get the accolades and the strokes. But it's also just as rewarding to see someone getting ahead. So that part I really like, and each day is different. This past year I've had 2 students, and it was lovely having 2 young women to work with, because I learn as much from them as they did from me. That's one of the big advantages that I think is that you're able to stay in contact with the different generations. Yes. And now a lot of women talk about being in their 60s and feeling like they're becoming invisible. How would you respond to that? Well, I don't feel invisible at all. I'm pretty vocal and I'm pretty active, both in the community and in other spheres. I think it gets back down to what you believe in yourself and whether you really want to make a difference, which is my main reason for being. So no, I don't feel invisible. In fact, most people don't even think I'm in my 60s, which is flattering.
Isn't that nice?
It is very nice.
you want to see my license? Had a picture. Well, you do have a picture of your younger self.
Yeah.
What would you say to that little girl? Tell us a little bit about that little girl. And what would you say to her at the moment?
Well, I was thinking about that when I found the photo. First of all, I grew up in Scotland, so I'm a little Scottish lassie. And I think the first message I'd give myself is to stay grounded, because I think a lot of people from Scotland are very grounded and down to earth. And I would never like to change from that. So that's a reminder. But the other part is, you know, there I am in my little kilt.
Yeah.
And my knees, you can't really see, are totally bruised because my mother told me I fell right before they were taking the photo.
Oh, no.
And yet I'm smiling in the photo. And I think that's my biggest message is, you know, bad things happen, pick yourself up and get on with it.
A very good story. Good analogy, right? That
Yeah.
you can remember. Mm-hmm. Women that you meet now, I'm sure some of them say, well, I've had enough. I'm going to hang up my hat, or I'm not going to work anymore. Is there a conversation that you would have with them?
I would just want to make sure that everyone should follow their own path. I mean, I would never want to say you're nuts or anything else, because because we have to be true to ourselves.
Right.
I just think you want to make sure you've got some plans, that you've got some interests and hobbies, because otherwise I could see that depression could sit in pretty quickly if you haven't got a bit of a routine to your day and some plans of things that you can pursue. I mean, I've just joined Rotary, and that's part of my strategy, because I can see down the road I could get really involved in volunteering and so forth.
And so one of the concepts that comes up when I speak to other women is about having a purpose. And I know your purpose is to make a difference, especially in women's lives, women business owners' lives. You're very well known in our community. If you were to talk about one particular thing that gave you meaning in working in your 60s, what would that be?
I still think it's about the connecting.
Connecting.
Yeah, I think it's about the connecting. I have a good friend that I met with not so long ago, and she was doing far too much and overextending herself. And I was able to link her up with a couple of women that could help her. And it worked. And I just think, yay. Because in a way, it's not just helping her, it's helping the other two women get ahead and so forth. So it's, it's about asking for help too, which I don't do too well.
Well, thank you, Anne. I think that in our community, you are someone that we all aspire to be able to do what you do, and to make a difference in other women's lives, especially those who own their own business, because we all know that there are some challenges, definitely.
Yeah.
But knowing that we've got someone like you in our community is it's very special to us. And so I really appreciate you taking time to tell us a little bit why you continue to work in your 60s, and hope that we encourage a lot of other women to do their own thing, but to consider continuing to work.
Well, you're welcome. I grew up at a time where you either became a secretary, teacher, or nurse. And so I decided to go for being a secretary, and I got accepted into a training program with Unilever, which was quite a good, they paid you while you learned, and it was a 3-month training program. And when I finished the program, there was a job advertised in HR to actually recruit and interview the next round of applicants for this program. Now, I don't know why I had the balls to do this, but I applied, and not only did I apply, I got the job. So here I am at 19. I'm no longer a secretary. I have a secretary.
Oh, wow.
Interviewing people and so forth. So it was really, yeah. And so I think you were asking what I learned from that. And what I learned from that is think big. You just never know. And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Out there, like you said, think big and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you are going to stay visible, if that's important to you. We know we can achieve big things, and we're not finished yet.
No, and I think it's, that's right. It's never too late. And there's all sorts of things that you could be learning and doing and offering to the community.
So that's a good one. I like that. If you enjoyed the video today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out the links below. And remember, take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you have built for yourself.